everybody, and welcome to the Journey Today show. I'm Camille.
And I'm David.
And today we're going to discover that God is giving, so we can be thankful without complaining. David.
Yes, Camille.
If you haven't noticed, I'm trying to get the show started. What on earth are you doing?
Crossing the Red Sea.
Crossing the Red Sea? Really, David? That is like the corniest dad joke ever.
I'm offended. I can tell way cornier jokes than that. Okay, how about this one? What happens to a white hat when you drop it into the Red Sea?
It turns red.
No, it gets wet. Here's another one. What do you call a cow that crosses the Red Sea?
I have no idea.
Moses! I know. Hilarious. How about this one? How did Moses split the Red Sea?
I don't know, David. How?
With a seesaw. You get it? Like a saw that cuts the sea?
Yeah, I get it, but that is not how Moses split the Red Sea. In fact, I'm pretty sure that God did most of the work.
Yeah, I know, but it's not very funny if I ask, how did Moses split the Red Sea? And then you say, God.
Okay. How about this? I'll agree with you that the seesaw joke was funny if you agree with me that God is actually the one who split the Red Sea.
You've got a deal, but you go first.
Okay, David, I agree that your joke was pretty funny.
Thank you, Camille. And I agree that God actually split the Red Sea. And he probably didn't use a seesaw.
Probably?
Well, it could have been an invisible seesaw.
No. In fact, the Bible tells us how God split the Red Sea, and spoiler alert, it was not with a seesaw. You know what? We're getting a little ahead of ourselves here. Before we even talk about the splitting of the sea, we have to understand what happened right before that. The Bible says that after being slaves for 400 years, the people of Israel had finally been set free from Egypt. There was just one problem. There was a giant sea that stood in the way of their escape. No, not that Red Sea. The Red Sea is a giant body of water that sits on the border of a country called Egypt.
That's right. Meanwhile, back in Egypt, Pharaoh couldn't believe he had just let all of his slaves go. So he and his soldiers used 600 of their best chariots to chase after the Israelites. Now, when the Israelites saw Pharaoh and his soldiers approaching, they complained to Moses, "How could you do this to us? Why would you bring us out here just to die?"
Yeah, and that brings us to our story for today. So let's do this. In just a second, press pause on the video and read the verses on the screen. While you're reading, see if you can figure out what God used to part the waters in the sea. When you're finished, press play and join us back here.
Okay, Camille, so I guess you're right. God didn't use a seesaw to split the Red Sea.
No, he definitely didn't. The Bible says that God used the wind to part the water, and not just a little bit of wind. Apparently, it was enough wind to not only split the sea, but to dry the ground so much that the Israelites could walk across it.
You know, that sounds pretty amazing, but I think maybe we're both thinking the same thing.
What's that?
I think we're both wondering if we could part water into and walk through it.
No, I am not wondering that.
Not just a little bit?
No, it's probably really, really, really hard. So hard, in fact, that only God could do it.
You know what? You're probably right. But I guess there's only one way to find out. So here's my challenge. Let's go out to the pool and see if we can part the water enough so that we can walk through it on dry ground. If all goes well, we won't even get wet.
David, I think we're going about this all the wrong way. The Bible says that God used a strong wind to part the waters.
Oh, Camille, that's a great idea.
Oh no, I was thinking of something a little bit more powerful.
Okay, so what I think we both learned from that challenge is that parting water in two is really, 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 really hard.
No, I didn't learn that because I already knew it. When God parted the sea, it was a miracle, something only God could do.
You know, I suspected that was the case, but now I know for sure. But isn't that one of the most amazing stories you've ever heard? I mean, can you imagine being one of the Israelites when they were crossing the Red Sea? Don't you think that you would be pretty thankful?
I think I would.
Yeah, me too. In fact, let's make a quick list of all the things the Israelites could have been thankful for. I'll start us off. God set them free from slavery.
Ooh, that's a good one. God also protected them from Pharaoh and his army.
And of course, God parted the Red Sea so they could escape.
Yeah, also, later, after they had crossed the Red Sea, he gave them food and water in the desert.
Now, that's a pretty impressive list. If God had done all those things for you, do you think you'd have much to complain about?
I wouldn't think so.
Me neither. But that's exactly what the Israelites did. God gave the Israelites everything they needed: freedom, protection, food, water. But they still complained. In fact, they eventually stopped trusting God to take care of them, and because of that, God made the Israelites wander through the desert for the next 40 years. I mean, can you imagine complaining like that after God had given you so much?
Unfortunately, I think we can.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, because we can be just like the Israelites sometimes. Let me show you what I mean. In the same way the Israelites had a lot to be thankful for, we have a lot to be thankful for too. Let's make another list, but this time, let's show the things that we have to be thankful for. I'll start us off this time. God gives us food to eat.
He gives us a place to live.
He gives us family and friends who love us.
He gives us a church where we can learn about him.
He gives us strengths and talents.
He gives us peace when things get hard.
That's a great list. God has given us all these things, so you might think that we would never complain about anything. But do we?
I hate to say it, but I know I do sometimes.
Yeah, me too. And I'm pretty sure you guys do it too. In fact, here's what we're going to do. We'll show you some things on the screen that kids might complain about. I want you kids at church and at home to read them out loud with us. But when we read them, we have to do them in our whiniest voices. Are you ready? Here's the first one. It's not fair. My brother got a bigger piece of cake than I did.
Ooh, that was a good whiny voice. Okay, Here's another one. Why do I have to eat that? It tastes so gross.
How about this one? Why can't I get that new video game? I don't get to have anything fun.
All right. Let's do one more together. But this time, let's use our super duper whiniest voices. Okay, are you ready for this, Camille? Here we go.
I always have to go to bed early. No one else has to go to bed this early. Now, those might have sounded a little extra whiny, but have you ever said things like that before?
Yeah, I'll bet we all have. But that's not what the Bible tells us we should do. Take a look at our Bible verse for today. It says, do everything without grumbling or arguing. Philippians 2:14.
You know, that gives me an idea. One of the best ways to combat grumbling and complaining is to talk about what you're thankful for. So let's answer a question that helps us do that. Here's my question. What has God given you that you can be thankful for? Press pause
and discuss. Welcome back, everybody. When we complain, it's usually because we've forgotten about all the incredible things that God has already given us, just like the Israelites. In fact, there's one thing God has given us that we should always be thankful for. The Bible tells us that God gave us His one and only Son, Jesus, so that anyone who believes in Him will have forever life in heaven. There is no gift more incredible than that.
That's right. So the next time you find yourself complaining about something or using your whiny voice, be sure to stop and think about all of the things God has given you. God is incredibly giving, so we can be thankful without complaining.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us for another super duper episode of the Journey Today show. I hope you had fun because I know I did.
Yeah, me too. Be sure to join us again next week. Until then, David, what are you doing?
I'm talking on the Red Sea. And now I'm eating the Red Sea. Arrgh! And now I'm diving into the Red Sea.
No, David, bad idea. Okay, I am taking away the Red Sea and we are saying bye before anyone else gets hurt.
Fine. Bye, everybody.
Hello, JTS, this is Camille.
Well, hello there. My name is Cornelius Carl. I do declare, fall has arrived. That means it's time to play one of my most beloved games. It's a tradition that has been passed down for many generations in the Cobb family. We call it the Candy Corn Shuffle. The rules are quite simple. You'll see a single, delicious candy corn on the screen. It will then be hidden behind one of several pumpkins. Those pumpkins will get shuffled around. But you've got to keep your eye on the pumpkin with the candy corn. Now just let me get my spectacles and we'll get this game started. My, I do so enjoy this game. If you know where the candy corn is, just shout it out. 1, 2, or 3. Well done, but that round was easy as pie. Let's try another, slightly more challenging version. All right. You best have been paying attention. If you know where the candy corn is now, just shout it out. 1, 2, or 3. Very impressive. But do you think you can keep up if we add a 4th pumpkin? I almost got confused on that one myself. Shout out 1, 2, 3, or 4 if you know where the candy corn is at. Excellent attention to detail. Now, things are gonna get really interesting. Sweet marmalade, that was fast. If you kept your eye on the candy corn, then shout it out. 1, 2, 3, or 4. Well, I am impressed. That was some mighty fine work. But we've still got 2 more rounds to go. My, that will boggle the mind. Were you able to keep an eye on the candy cone? If so, shout it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Sweet apple pie, you're right. Now, you'll need to bring forth all your powers of concentration and focus for this final challenge. That was faster than a hot knife through butter on the 4th of July. Do you have any idea where the candy corn is at? If so, shout it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. I do declare you have done it! That was quite the sight to behold. Thank you all very much for taking time to play this game today. I have thoroughly enjoyed our time together.